Welcome back. You're watching our CNBC TV18 special coverage. Those are the news breaks on your screens. 5% tax on restaurants outside of 5 stars. I do want to add there that this is 5% without input tax credit, and that is an important clarification. This is the decision that's been taken by the GST Council. Restaurant owners seem to be divided. The smaller guys seem to be okay with this, but the specialty restaurants chief that we just spoke with said that this would be a disappointment. The other news breaks here on CNBC TV18 that are coming in. There's a massive rejig in the 28% tax slab. As we've been reporting, the number of items being brought down from the current list of 225 down to about 50. The recommendation of the Fitment Committee was 62. The GST Council doing one step further, bringing it down to 50 items only. So some of the capital good, consumer durable items will continue to be in that slab, along with sin goods and luxury items. Let's now bring you the other news breaks that we've got here on CNBC TV18. We will see some rationalization, even as far as items moving from 18 down to 12 and 5%. That is an expectation as well. So some rejig there is expected. That's according to the Finance Minister of Assam speaking to CNBC TV18. What we are also given to understand is that for the composition scheme, there have been changes. 1.5 crores, that is going to be the threshold hike with a cap of 2 crores. So an enabling law, the threshold will be capped at 2 crores for the composition scheme. And what we are also given to understand is that it will be a rate of 1% for traders and for manufacturers within the composition scheme. No interstate sales as part of that. The other news breaks that we've got coming up have to do with the fact that we could perhaps see the government also making some announcements with respect to the compliance burden. But we'll get you all of that as we discuss this with our panel of experts. Gentlemen, we're now being told that it's another 30 minutes before the Finance Minister comes out and speaks to us and gives us officially the decisions that have been taken by the GST Council. So let me start, Archit, by asking you, on the back of everything that we've discussed so far, to your mind, what is going to be the most significant decision?
Right. So the rate change, Shireen, continues to be a very significant decision, right? Like also the fact that the restaurant rate becomes 5% without ITC, while the industry obviously does not want that, as we heard on the panel. But from an optics perspective, the consumer will definitely feel that taxes went down in GST, and the political compulsions, if you will, those that calculus changes. I think what I'm looking forward to in the next 30 minutes, and obviously hearing from the finance minister, is that like what will happen in terms of the compliance burden. So you've reduced the tax rates and you've made life simpler. But like, how will the country comply? Like, will it be easier, and what is the nature of the ease? And will there be a deadline extension, like in terms of like, do we push out compliance as a country by 6 months and those kind of things? Yeah.
All right. So I just want to point out for the benefit of our viewers that the 23rd meeting of the GST Council has now concluded. I'm just being told that the meeting has just ended about 30 seconds ago. So we will now start to see state finance ministers emerge and give us more clarity on the final decisions that have been taken. But the GST Council meeting, the 23rd meeting of the GST Council, has now concluded. That is the information that that we're picking up. So state finance ministers should be joining us in just about a few minutes from now. Rohan Shah, what is it that you think would be the biggest headline in light of everything that we've discussed?
Certainly, I think the factor of the trimming of the rates, the fact that almost 200 items have come out of 28%, and as one of the ministers mentioned, even 18 is likely to go to 12 and 12 is likely to go to 5. So I think from that perspective of everything we certainly know till now, to me that's the really big headline, as is the facilitation in terms of the composition, you know, going up 1.5. But like other panelists have said, a lot of the problems which beset us whether it's small industry or it's the larger ones.
Mr. Shah, I'm going to interrupt you, sir. I'm going to interrupt you. We've got the first state finance minister joining us now, Mr. Hasib Drabu, the finance minister of J&K. Mr. Drabu, thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV18. It's a crucial meeting. Our experts here on the panel saying that this could be the equivalent of the union budget in November or Christmas and Diwali rolled into one. Give us a sense of everything that's been decided, sir.
Well, I think, Dr. Shah, primarily, I think the biggest thing is that the 28th bracket has been thrown down substantially. It's down to 50 items now. And this is en route to the whole thing of 28% becoming a sin and a demerit rate. So that, I think, is a major thing. Now, one of the reasons why this has been thrown down from 260 to 50 is the fact that the macro revenues are not looking bad. So when you take the total picture, the losses today...
So when you say the macro revenues are not looking bad, Mr. Drabu, I just want to interrupt you, sir, because we just heard from the West Bengal finance minister, and he gave us some numbers of aggregate loss at the central level of 60,000 crores, at the state level of 30,000 crores. You're saying the macro picture is not looking bad. Can you explain this to us?
That might be an extrapolation which he has done, which I'm not aware of. The numbers that we have is today the need for compensation is just about what is coming from the cess itself. So that gives you a sense. It's a very, very simple indicator. That if it's 7,500 crores is the need for compensation, and that is what you're generating by the cess, then your revenues are not looking bad. In fact, the other thing is that as months go by, every month has been an improvement. So depending on what view you take, in terms of the growth, you will see that the revenues are much higher than what they were in the earlier months. So based on our understanding
that you're giving us, that the macro picture is not looking bad.
Yes, and in fact, based on that, which is what triggers the whole thing of rate reductions, because that does bring a cost along with it, and the estimated costs of what the Fitment Committee had recommended was 16,000 crores. But then the GST Council added a few more items to it. 12 more were dropped off from the 28 list, taking the cost to about 20,000 crores. So that 20,000 crores then is really, is what is the loss emerging out of the rate reduction and pruning of the 28% list.
Mr. Drabu, I want to get some important clarifications from you, sir, because there was a pending decision on what happens to the rate on restaurants, sir. I'm given to understand that it is 5% for all non-5-star restaurants without input tax credit. Is that accurate, sir?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I think...
So it is 5% for...
For all standalone restaurants which don't fall in the category of 7,500 room length, which is the equivalent of, there's no category of 5 stars in the GST regime. So in the any hotel that has a room, has a restaurant, which is room tariff of 7,500, will still be 18% with ITC. Rest, everybody else is at 5%. So in some way,
without
for the restaurant
ITC.
Sector, yes. For the non-restaurant sector segment, it has become a universal composition scheme, effectively. A 5% and that's it. So that is what happened with the restaurant sector.
Mr. Drabu, we just had the CEO of Specialty Restaurants, Anjan Chatterjee, on the program, and he said that if this was indeed accurate, he would be very disappointed because this, in fact, would mean that they would have to move prices higher, sir.
I'm aware of it. I mean, one has looked at it very closely. I think what sectors like his, or restaurants like his do is that they have a lot of ITC in rentals, which your regular restaurants don't have. And I think the estimated ITC is about 7%. So if it's 12% with ITC, you would still have a net effective interest of 5%. But because we've done 5%, I mean, in some ways, that's also the back of the calculation. But you're right, that's a view that will emerge from the industry. But I think there's also a view that will emerge from the customer. The biggest thing, I think, which has happened with the restaurant sector is once the rates were dropped from 28 to 18%, there was no change in their tariffs. I think that's a big sore point with the GST Council. Because a lot of the kind of bad optics and bad press that the GST regime has got is because of the impact of what the customer felt after he had a meal somewhere. The old rates were suddenly tagged on with another 18%. And that has in some way been a very important point in communicating that GST has caused a rise in the pricing. So had they been fair and played fair and square, they should have dropped the rates.
Okay. Mr. Dabu, very quickly, sir, on the composition scheme, what have been the decisions? We are given to understand the threshold has been hiked to 1.5 crores and capped at 2 crores, sir. Also 1% for manufacturers and traders?
Yes. So one is the possibility that you may subsequently need to, because we'll have to make a change in the law to allow it to go to above 1 crore. So it's been hiked to 1.5 at the moment with an enabling hike of cap of 2 crores. And restaurants are out of the composition scheme for this moment. And it's for manufacturers and traders, it's 1%. No interstate trade sales allowed, no ITC allowed. So basic structure of GST is maintained there.
No interstate.
No interstate sales
So I'm
are
just
allowed.
clarifying that. No interstate sales under the composition scheme.
Yes, and no ITC as well.
No ITC as well. Mr. Drabu, I'm going to reconnect with you, sir. The finance minister started speaking, but we'll reconnect with you. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV18.
Including ratifying what we have done in the past. There was also a presentation of the revenue analysis for the first 3 months. Then there had been certain decisions taken in the interim period by the implementation committee, which were all ratified by the council. There were some other changes in the legal provisions which the law committee had suggested, which have all been approved. In the last few meetings, as a part of our effort to rationalize the GST structure, the council has been reviewing the rates from time to time. When the rates were originally fixed by adding all the pre-GST taxes, that is predominantly VAT, service tax, central excise, CST, the principle of equivalence had been applied. That is, what was the pre-existing tax before the 1st of July? And therefore, each item of goods was specifically fitted into that category. Having done that exercise, in the last 3 meetings, we have been systematically looking at the 28% tax bracket and rationalizing certain items out of that bracket into the lesser categories. Mostly 18%, in some cases even less. और ये 28% से 18 या कम में इसलिए लाते जा रहे थे क्योंकि एक तो ऑप्टिकली कुछ आइटम्स ऐसे हैं जो 28 में नहीं होने चाहिए जो पुरानी रिजीम में होते थे। दूसरा यह है कि कुछ उसमें से ऐसे आइटम्स थे जिनमें जो छोटे लोग बनाते थे तो उनको एक्साइज का एग्जेम्पशन भी रहता था। और पिछली तीनों मीटिंग में 30-40 आइटम हर मीटिंग में 28% ब्रैकेट से हम लोगों ने बाहर निकाले हैं। और आज कुल मिलाकर 228 आइटम्स ऐसे हैं गुड्स के जो 28% कैटेगरी में थे। फिटमेंट कमेटी ने पिछली मीटिंग के बाद इन सब को रैशनलाइज किया और उद्देश्य यह था कि जैसे जैसे रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन आगे बढ़ता है इसका रैशनलाइजेशन और कैसे कर सकते हैं। और फिटमेंट कमेटी ने भी अपनी सुझाव दिए थे और फिटमेंट कमेटी के सजेशंस के मुताबिक कुछ ऐसे आइटम्स हैं, मैं कैटेगरीज बतला देता हूं। एक तो जो सेस आइटम्स हैं जिसमें लग्जरी आइटम्स या सिम गुड्स आते हैं, वाइट गुड्स आते हैं, और कुछ अन्य गुड्स हैं, ऑटो पार्ट्स के हैं, एयरक्राफ्ट्स के हैं, यॉट्स के हैं। कंस्ट्रक्शन में सीमेंट और पेंट है। इनके अतिरिक्त जितने आइटम्स हैं, काउंसिल ने यह फैसला किया कि उनको लोअर कैटेगरीज में डाल देना चाहिए। और इसलिए 178 आइटम्स 28 से 18 में ट्रांसफर किए गए। इसकी जो डेट होगी एप्लीकेबिलिटी की वो 15 तारीख से होगी, क्योंकि सेंटर और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स दोनों को नोटिफिकेशंस इसके निकालने होते हैं और उन नोटिफिकेशंस में कुछ समय लग जाता है। कंस्ट्रक्शन में भी जो इलेक्ट्रिकल गुड, सैनिटरी फिटिंग्स एक्सेट्रा जितने इस तरह के आइटम्स थे जो कन्वेंशनली 28 या 31 में होते थे प्री जीएसटी रिजीम में, उन सब को इस लेसर कैटेगरी के अंदर डिटर्जेंट्स, मार्बल, फ्लोरिंग, कई टॉयलेटरीज के आइटम्स हैं जिनको लाया गया है। दो आइटम्स ऐसे हैं जिनको 28 से 12 में लाया गया है। एक वेंट ग्राइंडर्स हैं और एक कोई आर्मर्ड फाइटिंग व्हीकल्स की एक एंट्री है। कुछ और आइटम्स थे जो सेपरेटली फिटमेंट कमेटी के सामने रिव्यू के लिए थे, जो पहले से 18% में ही थे। उनमें से 13 आइटम्स ऐसे हैं जो 18 से 12, और 6 आइटम हैं जो 18 से 5, 8 आइटम हैं जो 12 से 5, 6 आइटम है 5 से नील, जिनको लाया गया है। इनकी डिटेल लिस्ट तैयार है, प्रेस रिलीज के साथ आप लोगों को रिलीज कर दी जाएगी। A second major item was also with regard to restaurants. अब रेस्टोरेंट्स के संबंध में पहले ये डिस्टिंक्शन थी कि जो 1 करोड़ से कम टर्नओवर वाले हैं उनकी 5% कॉम्पोजिशन होगी, नॉन एसी के लिए 12%, एसी के लिए 18% और इसमें आईटीसी होगा। एक ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स भी हम लोगों ने बनाया था और काउंसिल ने इस पे लंबी चर्चा की। सभी मेंबर्स का एक मत था कि जो रेस्टोरेंट्स को आईटीसी मिलता है, जीएसटी लागू होने के बाद प्रायः कस्टमर्स को वो आईटीसी रेस्टोरेंट्स ने पास ऑन नहीं किया है। और केवल एग्जिस्टिंग रेट के ऊपर जीएसटी चार्ज करना शुरू किया है। और इसलिए कई ऑप्शंस जीओएम ने भी अपनी सिफारिश दी थी। और इसलिए टैक्स का एडिशनल बर्डन रेस्टोरेंट गोअर्स के ऊपर आता है, लेकिन जो आईटीसी का बेनिफिट उनको मिलना चाहिए था वो रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री ने नहीं दिया है। और इसलिए हमें एक निर्णय ये लेना पड़ा कि रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री को अब से आईटीसी का बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा। और जो रेट होगा सभी रेस्टोरेंट्स के लिए, एसी, नॉन एसी, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ टर्नओवर, जो टैक्स कस्टमर पे पड़ेगा जीएसटी का, वो 5% रहेगा। So all restaurants in the country will be levied a GST of 5% and no ITC benefit will be available to any restaurant. Since they did not pass on the benefit to the consumer, they are not entitled to the benefit themselves. और स्वाभाविक है इसलिए कि जो भी कस्टमर रेस्टोरेंट में जाएगा अब उसको 18 की बजाय 5% देना पड़ेगा और आईटीसी बेनिफिट रेस्टोरेंट को इसमें नहीं मिल पाएगा। जो होटल्स के अंदर रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं, जो पुरानी व्यवस्था थी कि 7,500 रुपए से ऊपर वाले जहां कमरे हैं, जो स्टार्ट रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं, वहां 18% विद एसटीसी आईटीसी, और जो 7,500 से नीचे वाले हैं वहां भी 5% विदाउट आईटीसी। जो बाहर वाले रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं सेम रेट रहेगा। तो इफेक्टिवली रेस्टोरेंट्स आउटसाइड एंड इन होटल्स विल कॉस्ट द सेम 5% without ITC instead of 18%, except in starred hotels, that is 7,500 and above, which will be 18% with ITC. Outdoor catering will be at 18% with ITC. ये रेट्स के संबंध में इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस थे। इसके अलावा जो रिटर्न फाइलिंग प्रोसीजर है, इनिशियल मंथ्स के लिए यानी इस साल के लिए टिल 31 मार्च इसलिए कि उसके बाद हमारी कमेटी जब के जो डिसीजंस है उसको इंप्लीमेंट करने का शेड्यूल आपको बताएंगे कि इनिशियल स्टेजेस में ट्रेड के ऊपर बर्डन कम रहे, उस कंप्लायंस बर्डन को और ईज किया गया है। So we have eased the compliance burden even more till 31st March, till people get used to the new regime. And after a detailed discussion, these decisions have been taken. I'll request the Revenue Secretary to give you the change methodology.
The first decision which the Council has taken is that the filing of return for 3B will be continued till March. So March 2018 tak, all taxpayers will continue to file 3B only up to the point of March 2018. In case of small taxpayers or people having no tax liability, the filing of return for 3B will be simplified, and it will be done in such a way that in 2 or 3 steps one can easily file one's return, 3B return, if there is no transaction to be reported. So if there is a nil liability report, and by our experience we found that there were about 30 to 40% filers who had nil return to be filed. Now in their case, it should become very easy to file a return. So that's one decision we have taken. The Council has also decided that in the current year, the filing of 1 will only be done, GSTR 1. So what we are saying is that the current year, because we are already running in a backlog, we are going to complete only the cycle of July by 11th of December. So we don't have much of a time also to catch up with the rest of the months. And this was a learning cycle for us, the period of this 3 months in which July return was being filed, GSTR 1 to 3. It was a learning period for all of us. Whatever experience we got out of it, we need to make amendments to our entire business process. Maybe we need to relook at our forms also, GSTR 1 to 3. But we are not going to give up the idea of invoice matching. That will continue. But to begin with, in the current year, we are going to say that all taxpayers will only file GSTR 1 in the current year. And the timetable for this will be that all the small people below 1.5 crore will file their return as per this timetable, the small ones below 1.5. So all the pending invoices in GSTR 1 for the month of July to September will be filed by 31st of December 2017. Then for the quarter October to December, all the invoices of that period will be filed by 15th of February by people below 1.5 crore. And for January to March, all the invoice-wise details in GSTR 1 will be filed up to 30th of April 2018. This is the timetable for big people, once in a quarter only. So it's almost quarterly. So we are giving a long time for people below 1.5 crore turnover. For people above 1.5 crore turnover, whose number of invoices are generally large, we want them not to keep it pending for a quarter, but instead they should do their filing of invoices monthly. So for them, the date for GSTR 1 filing, and GSTR 1 will be filed without even waiting for 2 and 3. So we are going to open GSTR 1 filing for all the months now. So for July to October, the backlog of GSTR 1 will be filed before 31st December. This is for the big people. And then every month they will file their returns, GSTR 1, invoice by detail, the big people. And that will be done after 40 days. So November will be filed by 10th of January, December will be filed by 10th of February, January GSTR 1 will be filed by 10th of March, February by 10th of April, and March by 10th of May. So this is the long timetable we have given for big people also. But we do want invoice by details to go into the computer. And for the current year, this is what we are prescribing. As far as purchase details are concerned, which come in GSTR 2, for that we have set up a committee under Chairman GSTN, consisting of some state officers and central government officers, who will look at the entire issue of matching and whether we can simplify it further, 2 and 3. So that process will be done by them for this period. And then we will come out with a timetable for populating the purchase details by all the dealers as may be required. But let them think about it, GSTR 2 and 3. But in any case, we do want invoice by detail of GSTR 1, so that at any time we can do matching of GSTR 1 details with GSTR 3B, which we are getting in any case, so that we are able to ensure that there is no leakage of revenue. But this is what, so for the current year, it has become much less. The burden on people has become much less. Everybody will file their invoice by detail. The smaller people will file only once in a quarter. And everybody will file 3B, because 3B is, people are used to 3B now. It's not a big thing. And 3B also, we'll try to simplify it will be more interactive in nature. So if you are a very small dealer and if you don't want all the tables to be filled up, we will ask you a question and only that particular table will open for you to fill up. The other tables will not open for you. So it will become simpler by making it interactive, the return filing process. So that we will try to do, GST will try to do. The other important decisions are regarding the penalty on late filing. It has been decided by the council that if there is a nil return to be filed, there is no transaction to be reported, there is no liability for tax at all, then the fine for late filing will be reduced from 200 rupees per day to 20 rupees per day only. So 10 rupees SGST, 10 rupees CGST for nil return filers. And for other people who are late in filing their return, also it will be reduced from rupees 200 per day to rupees 50 per day. So that is the decision for other tax filers. So there is a significant reduction in the late filing burden. But at the same time, we don't want that people should be late in filing, because based on the returns which the people file, we get our data for IGST settlement. And so we don't want that data to be delayed, otherwise states may not get their revenue. So that's why some penalty has been there. The other one more decision is about extension of dates for filing of other returns. So there are about 6 types of different forms for which some more time is given to people. GSTR ITC 04 for July to September quarter can now be submitted up to 31st of December. But the second form, which is very important, is composition dealer, GSTR 4. Those people who are in composition scheme and those who were to file, there are about 15 lakh of them, those who were to file their composition return quarterly, which was so far postponed up to 18th of October, that is now being postponed to 24th of December. So originally it was supposed to be filed as soon as the quarter ends in September. 18th October was the date. We had already extended it by one time, but there is a second extension. So now GSTR 4 can be filed by 24th of December, and the form for filing GSTR 4 is already available online now. So people can start filing it from today itself. But they've got a long time because it's a first time exercise for them. So we want everybody to be comfortable, and so 24th of December. Then there are other forms, GSTR 5, 5A, 6, for which the dates are respectively 11th of December, 15th of December, and 31st of December. And TRAN 1, transition credit form, which was allowed to be revised also. So we had to give long time because the revision facility was not available on the GSTN. So TRAN 1 also, you can do so by 31st of December. The TRAN 1 form can be now revised, or it can be submitted if you are not already submitted by 31st of December. Couple of other decisions which are, I think, sir, wo GOM wale 2-3 decision. One is that for composition dealers, instead of having 2 different rates of 1% and 2% for traders and manufacturers, there will be a uniform rate of 1% on composition dealer for manufacturer also. So for both trader as well as manufacturer, there will be 1%, but there is no change on the composition rate of restaurant. But in any case, most people will now opt for regular 5% rate of restaurant rather than a composition scheme. But still, composition scheme will remain on paper. But most people may go in for a regular scheme of 5%, this one. The other thing is that the people who are in composite scheme of goods, in services it is not allowed, only on goods it is allowed, composition scheme. If they have a small service to be given, up to 5 lakhs per annum, then they will not be considered ineligible. They will be considered as eligible for composition if they are also giving services up to ₹5 lakhs in addition to supply of goods. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि छोटा काम सर्विसेज का भी करते हैं, तो वो उनके लिए ये फैसिलिटी दे रहे हैं. और तीसरा ये था कि जो कंपोजिशन का जो लिमिट है 1 करोड़ का, जो कि एज पर द लॉ ओनली इज देयर, बट इट हैज बीन डिसाइडेड बाय द काउंसिल के लॉ विल बी अमेंडेड टू मेक इट 1.5 crore. The law will be amended to make it 2 crore, but immediately after the law is amended, immediately the composition limit will be increased to 1.5 crore. But that will happen only after amendment of law, not immediately.
That's only a proposal.
That's only a proposal. So that's only a proposal, and that will happen subsequently. And all the other things which we just wanted to say is going to be effective from 15th of November prospectively. So it doesn't apply retrospectively. Just we need to note down all this. Even the composition dealers who have to file the return GSTR 4, they will be paying 2% if they are manufacturers for the last quarter. But for the next quarter, there will be a change in that. Right? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, one more thing was in the composition scheme, the tax 1% was to be paid on the total volume of turnover. It may be exempted goods or non-exempted goods. Now it has been decided by the council that 1% will be applied only on taxable supply, not on the exempt good. So if there is a kirana person who is having lot of wheat and rice which is not taxable being sold, then on that volume of turnover, of course the composition limit decide करने के लिए total turnover लेना है. But the tax of 1% will be charged only on the taxable turnover, not on the exempt supply. Yeah.
The revenue impact can be theoretically given to you, but if the chain system increases the compliances, then that becomes only an academic issue. So you can calculate an adverse revenue impact only on the assumption that everything else will remain the same.
Sir, myself, Repository Bureau from Assam Talks. Sir, what are the 6 items that will come down to 0%?
We will give the press statement.
We'll be giving a list, a detailed list just now, before you leave.
Before you leave, it is gore meal, hope cones, certain dried vegetables, unworked coconut shell. This is a list of items which will be a part of the press release.
There's a big concern from the Northeast of raising the registration fee from 10 lakh to 20 lakhs because a 10 lakh person, the profit or earning will come to roughly about 10,000 a month for them. And second was the IT connectivity in Northeast. These two major issues as far as Northeast is concerned.
You see, as far as the exemption limit that you are mentioning of 20 lakhs, it states the ऊपर छोड़ दिया है. You see, there is the states in Northeast had opted for a 10 lakh limit. But we can change the law, and if any state wants to go amongst the Northeast or the hill states, wants to go up to 20 lakhs, they have the option of doing so. Jammu and Kashmir has already opted for 20 lakhs amongst the hill states.
IT connectivity in Northeast.
Well, that has to improve.
सर, आपने बताया कि शुरुआती 3 महीने में जीएसटी से कितना राजस्व आया, उसका एनालिसिस पेश किया गया. तो कुछ बता सकते हैं सर कि किस तरीके से आपकी उम्मीद के मुताबिक रहा या कम रहा?
ऐसा है कि ये अभी आरंभिक समय है. आरंभिक इसलिए है कि इससे पैटर्न पूरा अभी अंतिम टिप्पणी कर पाना कठिन होगा, क्योंकि अभी ट्रांजिशन काफी चल रहा है और काफी आईजीएसटी ब्लॉक्ड है, जो अभी तक स्टेट और सेंटर के बीच में एलोकेट नहीं हुआ. तो उसकी एलोकेशन के बाद एक्चुअल आपको पता चल जाएगा कि कहाँ शॉर्टफॉल है और कहाँ सरप्लस है. लेकिन ओवरऑल कलेक्शंस जो हैं पहले 3 महीनों में वो 93 से 95,000 करोड़ की रेंज में आ जाती हैं।
Sir, hello, sir. My name is Pandit Sentimeter, editor the Pen Power and the New Educational Weeklies. Sir, common people में इसका असर क्या होगा सर? जो हेलो सर, कॉमन पीपल में इसका असर क्या होगा?
किस चीज का?
जीएसटी जो अभी लागू किया है, कॉमन पीपल में इसका क्या इफेक्ट होगा? असर
जो टैक्स कम होगा तो उसका असर अगर कंज्यूमर को पास ऑन होगा तो अच्छा होगा।
अच्छा सर, और अभी जो आपने डिसीजन लिया इसका क्या इतना जल्दी?
वही होगा ना कि कम किया है तो स्वाभाविक है कि लोगों को लाभ मिलेगा उसका।
थैंक यू सर।
लोगों के ऊपर जो कंप्लायंस का जो बर्डन है, जो कागजी बर्डन है, वो भी थोड़ा सरल होगा।
Sir, you talked about the assessment on the revenue situation. Sir, if you could explain to us what is the assessment overall, will the center and the states be able to...
You see, because transitional credit, there is a lot of IGST and transitional credit which is still blocked. So once that process is complete, you will have a more definitive picture. But as at present, you see, you are having the settlements done between the center and the state of the IGST. So the total quantums are there, but there is a lot of blocked amount which is still lying. So I don't think a final word on basis of the first 3 months can really be said.
Sir, 28% को में सिर्फ 50 आइटम बचे हैं, तो क्या हम ये समझे कि 18 और 12 को कन्वर्ज करके एक रेट बनाने का एक बैकग्राउंड तैयार हो गया और हम जल्दी...
तो आप अगले एजेंडा पे चले गए हैं।
सर, आलोक प्रियदर्शी फ्रॉम जी बिजनेस। सर, जो रेस्टोरेंट को एक बड़ा फैसला किया गया 5% पर सीधे विदाउट आईटीसी लेकर आया गया, क्या ये मान लिया गया कि रेस्टोरेंट जो है वो कंज्यूमर को बेनिफिट पास ऑन नहीं कर रहे थे और सीधे कंज्यूमर को बेनिफिट पास ऑन कर दिया जाए और बहुत ज़्यादा?
नहीं, मैंने इससे ज़्यादा स्पष्ट भाषा में ये कहा है। आपकी जानकारी में ऐसे रेस्टोरेंट्स हों जिन्होंने दाम कम किए हों तो मुझे उनके नाम बताइए। हम लोगों ने, पूरी कमेटी ने पूछा कि किसी भी राज्य में ऐसे रेस्टोरेंट्स थे कि 8, 9, 10% आईटीसी बेनिफिट मिलता है, तो कौन से रेस्टोरेंट ने 8, 9, 10% कम किया था अपना दाम और फिर उसके ऊपर टैक्स लगाया था? और अगर आप आईटीसी बेनिफिट कस्टमर को पास ऑन नहीं कर रहे तो फिर उस रेजीम से आपको अलग किया जाएगा और कस्टमर के ऊपर ही दोहरा बर्डन क्यों डाला जाए?
सर, असम जो है कंज्यूमर स्टेट है, तो आपने जो स्लैब में जो बदलाव लिया, इसमें इसका प्रभाव जो है असम पे विशेषकर क्या प्रभाव पड़ेगा?
देखिए, ये कोई स्टेट स्पेसिफिक प्रभाव नहीं है, ये कंज्यूमर्स के ऊपर है और कंज्यूमर्स के ऊपर इसलिए प्रभाव है और उद्योग के ऊपर प्रभाव है। इससे आफ्टर ऑल जब आप रेट ऑफ टैक्सेशन को और रैशनलाइज करते हो तो उससे पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था को लाभ मिलता है।
Sir, Girish from Mint. Sir, GST was originally designed as a sophisticated IT-driven tax system. Now, since we are giving concessions and suspending invoice matching for a limited period, is it not killing the spirit of GST? And how do we?
No, we are not killing the spirit. You see, you are moving ahead systematically, step by step. It's a transition phase, so we are doing the transition in phases.
Sir, Shreya from Money Control wanted to know, so for the next entire year, R2 and R3 will not be filed. So when do we see the filing process of R2 and R3 begin again? How
you
is
see,
it?
The Revenue Secretary just now mentioned that under the chairmanship of the of GSTN, a committee to work that out is being appointed, and once that committee gives its recommendations, hopefully in the next, he has given the schedule only till 31st March. So after 31st March, that operation should normally come into process.
No, this 3B is continuing, so it is a self-declared credit which they are taking in any case. So till 31st March, there will be no change in that position. Everybody is taking their own credit. Now, whether that credit is reasonably taken or unreasonably taken, we will be able to match at the end of the year when GSTR 1 details are available with us and 3B credits are available with us. So we'll be able to check it through our own system. But in addition, we are not giving up the matching requirement. Uske liye committee will work out some calendar for it, and we will see when and how to file GSTR 2 and 3 even for the period of entire year of current year. So uske liye abhi banayenge, but we are not going to declare anything about 2 and 3 as of now. As of now, GSTR 1 will continue to be filed and GSTR 3B will continue to be filed. That is all.
Sir,
उसकी एक रिपोर्ट आज डिटेल में प्रेजेंट की गई और जो GSTN और जो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर कंपनी है उसके साथ जो बातचीत हुई और जो उसको इम्प्रूव करना और उसकी पेस को तेज करना, उसके संबंध में जो कदम बताए गए कि हर स्टेट में एक पर्टिकुलर पर्सनल पोस्ट करना इत्यादि, वो सारी डिटेल्स आज मीटिंग के अंदर दी गई।
सर अभी भी अच्छी बात है कि इतनी सारी सामग्रियों का जो रेट है वो घटा रहे हैं, लेकिन सोशल मीडिया पे अभी भी ट्वीट आ रहे हैं, फेसबुक में अपलोड हो रहे हैं, कांग्रेस बोल रहे हैं कि गुजरात की इलेक्शन सामने है, तो क्या इसी को मुद्दे नजर रखते हुए ऐसा कुछ स्टेप लिया गया है? इसके ऊपर कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे सर?
चलिए, अगर इससे लोगों का लाभ होता है तो बहुत अच्छा है। That amount is currently about 90,000.
No, but actually it is not blocked.
Well, that is the sum and substance of the major decisions that have been taken by the 23rd GST Council. That was the Finance Minister confirming many CNBC TV18 news breaks. Let me bring in our experts who have been sitting through this marathon coverage here with us on CNBC TV18 to give you a sense of what the impact is going to be. Also, state finance ministers who have been speaking with CNBC TV18 also with us now to give us their perspective. But gentlemen, very quickly, let me come to you and let me start by asking you, Pratik. Rate rationalization, ease of compliance. I mean, there are several big ticket items there. What, to your mind, is going to be the impact of all of the decisions taken this evening?
Oh boy, I mean, where do you start? I think 28 to 18, as we said, is a great move. I think due to anti-profiteering provisions and market dynamics, it would mean that the prices for the consumers will be lowered. And 178 items have gone down. There are 50-odd items are still there. Now you can keep debating whether items like air conditioner or a paint or a cement is a luxury or sin product or not, and that debate will continue. But clearly, a step in the right direction. Also, I like the fact that a date has been set as 15th of November for reduction of the rates, and which has not happened in the past, and different states have been issuing notification at different dates. So now there is a definite date, 15th of November, which gives you certainty. On the compliances, as we expected, Form 3B will continue till March next year. This is what we were expecting, which is a summary return. Will be further simplified for small businesses. GSTR 1, which is the outward sales summary, will be on a monthly basis for the larger businesses, which is also in the step in the right direction. But this also means that you'll have to claim credit on estimate basis every month. One point I would like to highlight is from a tax administrative point of view on restaurants, and there was a mention that restaurants were not passing on the input credit. And you already have a
It was not just a mention, Pratik. It was not just a mention. I mean, the finance minister unequivocally called out the restaurant industry, said you will not enjoy the benefits of the input tax credit because you haven't passed them on. In fact, thrice during the course of that presentation that he made to the media, he pointedly made references to the restaurant industry for not passing on the benefits of the ITC, and hence the decision now to do away with ITC altogether.
Correct. But you have the anti-profiteering provision which you could have invoked. Now, suppose somebody was charging 100 rupees plus 18, and now the rate has become 5, and you start charging 113 plus 5 or 110 plus 5, I mean, you still have to invoke the anti-profiteering provisions. So to say that, you're not passing on the input credit and therefore I have...
Do you get a sense? Do you get a sense that we're now going to, that this perhaps is going to be the first sector that may in fact invite the wrath of the government by way of anti-profiteering?
Yes, I mean, it has already invited that. And my question is simple, that you have something in provision in the law, and that provision needs to be invoked if somebody is not following the law. And today, if you have started with restaurants, what about other sectors? And gradually it could translate to other sectors. So that's something which we need to really watch out for. We have already spoken about the restaurants, in terms of, what will be the impact on input credit and whether it will promote cash economy or not. But, that enough has been said about that. But the ease in compliance is good. And the invoice level reporting will still continue for the bigger businesses. That is a step in the right direction. But once you claim the credit on estimate basis, then you still have to true it up at a later point in time. And therefore, businesses will have to keep track of the credits properly, even if the GSTR 2 and 3 have been deferred for some time. And the group of ministers will obviously decide on GSTR 2 and 3 as we go along.
Christmas and Diwali rolled into one, Rohan Shah. Is that what you would say now at the end of the meeting and the official announcements?
I'd continue to say that, yes. And I think what they've done with the rate structure is remarkable, as is the ease of compliance issues and with the composition. There are only two messages that I'm taking as subtext which I thought were important. The first is that because revenue collections are robust and the anticipation they will remain robust, you've immediately seen a justification for bringing 28 down for 200 items. And you've changed almost 203 items to lower rates. So if that is the trend, namely more robust collections is going to immediately translate into the factor of lower rates, then I think that as a trend is a very, very welcome trend. What I didn't like very much...
It is a very welcome trend, but the point that I want to just bring to your notice there and get your comments on it as well. And you heard Hasib Drabu, the J&K finance minister, suggesting exactly that the macro story looks much better in terms of numbers. But if you also listen to what the finance minister has said to us previously, and even today, he said, you know, we don't know what the actual number is going to be because there is the IGST issue that we have to deal with, and we haven't been able to get a handle around that just yet. So what do you then, I mean, how do you align that with the fact that we've now seen this massive reduction and the finance minister there being, cagey about assuming a 20,000 crore rupee revenue loss even? So perhaps that's not even an issue.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, it's not about the exact numbers because they didn't share the exact numbers. I am enthused by the trend in terms of saying that if they believe the trend is robust, as they said it is, then we've seen a very significant and immediate decrease. Now, to my mind, this may well be because there are some political reasons. But if the trend is that better and more robust collections will get us to lesser slabs, more rational slabs, I think that, to me, as a trend, is a very positive trend. The one thing that I was not so comfortable with is this situation that I think we have seen the first penalty from a policy perspective for not passing on a benefit. And everyone who's now got 28 to 18, beware. Everyone who's got 18 to 12, beware. Because the government is telling you that whether there is a formal anti-profiteering or not, if my sense is that you have not passed it on, I can take corrective actions. So I think the situation is you've seen a policy penalty, and, you know, people will have views on whether the restaurant industry was right or wrong. But to me, these two big takeaways are, you know, if we have more robust collections, you'll get more rational taxes. And if you don't pass on benefits and you're not consumer-centric, you know, don't wait for anti-profiteering. You might just see a policy initiative.
All right, and that is the big message there. Perhaps the decision taken for restaurants is the first policy penalty, as Rohan Shah pointed out. But we've been speaking with state finance ministers. The Congress are also trying to take credit for the decisions that have been taken today. Let's listen to the member of the Karnataka Congress representative on the GST Council, Krishna Bairegowda.
So on the composition scheme, it was expected that to give relief to small traders, the cap will be, the threshold will be increased. What mechanism is being used for that?
So, Council has approved in principle that composition can go up to 1.5 crores, but that requires an amendment in law, which the Parliament and the state legislatures have to do. So, Council has recommended it, and I'm sure in due course of time it will happen.
Right. Even to increase to 1.5 crores?
Yes, yes. Okay. So even increasing the ceiling to 1.5 crores would require a law amendment, and I think once the council recommends it, normally we expect it will go through since it's a collective decision. Right. So whenever the law is amended, I think the composition will go up to 1.5.
So even on hotels, there was a demand that there should be a rejig in the tax rate. We understand that it has been done, but you know, not all hotels will get this
So most hotels, 95% of the, the restaurants, 95% of the restaurants will come down to 5%. You're talking about only few restaurants which are basically in star hotels, where the room tariff is above 7,500 rupees per night. So in such hotels, those are restaurants located in such hotels, they will remain at 18%, but they will get a lot of input tax credit as well. So refund of tax.
Any discussion on losses for states and the center? We understand that even on IGST, around 1 lakh crore, is working capital that is stuck.
Yeah. So yes, I think IGST settlement is a little slow, and it should be speeded up. So until IGST settlement is fully in cycle, it's difficult to make an accurate assessment of losses or gains for the states also, because IGST has to be completely cleared for the earlier months, at least July, August. So if we can clear IGST settlement, then the picture of a gain or a loss becomes clearer. Whatever gain or loss we are talking about today is still not the final figure, because IGST is still locked up. So I think it has to do with GSTN issues, and I'm not confident that immediately there will be a resolution to this, but I think it's an unduly large amount to be locked up in a time of economic squeeze. More money should be flushed into the economy rather than withdrawn from the economy. Right. So I think macroeconomic wise also, constantly 1 lakh crores of working capital being locked up is not is detrimental to the economy itself. So I think Government of India should work on mechanism to speedily settle IGST